Morning, Colin. Thanks very much for joining us again on Blue Notes. Your background is as an ombudsman. You were the Commonwealth Ombudsman, and before that you were the Banking Ombudsman. And so this role at ANZ actually follows on from that. But what we're going to talk about today is, before that, you were at Toyota in the 70s and 80s.
Yes, look, it was a really important part of my working life, I have to say. I learnt an awful lot there about businesses going through enhancement processes, actually, looking at how they were going to position themselves for the future.
And that particular period, and I think if you asked anyone in Australia or the region, or probably the world, what strikes you about Toyota, they would say, oh, what a feeling. You were actually at Toyota when that "Oh, what a feeling" campaign started.
Yes, look, it was, frankly, it was lots of fun. But the "Oh, what a feeling" campaign was, yes, it was an advertising campaign, but it was really about significant enhancements to the way in which we did business at that time. Because the company which assembled Toyota passenger cars in Australia had also assembled Triumphs and Ramblers, and many years ago Mercedes-Benz. So with the way in which Toyota tackled the business being very different to the way in which some of those other companies did, there needed to be significant change in the way in which we did business. But the fundamental point, which was stressed by the managing director, who was Japanese, was that we were working as teams, and that there was a need, in order to make the best possible decision based on developing the best options, because of course no decision is made without looking at all the options, to have everybody who had an interest in this, whether it's from the legal point of view, from the manufacturing point of view, from the sales point of view, from the finance point of view, together to talk about what we were going to do about whatever the issue might be. So that working in multidisciplinary teams is actually still, I'm sure, very much the Toyota way. Different phrases might be used to describe it, but it was certainly brought to the company in Australia back in the mid-80s, particularly when I was involved there.
And was it initially a challenge for the workforce and for the leadership?
Yes, always a challenge. As I said earlier on, we really had some people who were very long-standing employees there, and change is challenging for all of us. We sometimes feel more comfortable doing things the way we always have, but the good thing about getting all the different those having different responsibilities together was that there was an appreciation that there's always several ways of doing things, and there's always good new ways of doing things, and that was easier to achieve because different perspectives were brought to whatever the problem might be. And yes, there were challenges, because there always are, and sometimes decisions might be made by a multidisciplinary team, which then have to be refined a little bit based on experience, but it's certainly a model which has worked really well for a whole range of organisations. So, some of the things that were learnt there were therefore relevant to the way in which the rest of the business was developed, which eventually led to Toyota being number one in the market for the first time in the early 90s, as I recall it. But it was really some of the work which was done by many people in the organisations, very well led by a great CEO at the time, which then led to reaching that position in due course.